This coach had 80 leads from a campaign that he ran. He converted a fraction of what he should have, but not because the leads were bad and not because the offer was wrong. It wasn't even because he wasn't good at coaching. It's because there was no system on the other side to catch them. In this video today, I'm going to break down exactly what was going on in his business, exactly what we built to fix it, and what happened to his business after the first week of having all the systems in place. His words throughout this video are unscripted and unedited, so let's get into it. Before I play the first clip, I'm going to give you some context. This coach runs an online coaching business focused on helping busy dads lose weight and build muscle. He's good at what he does. He was putting in real hours, running campaigns, and generating leads. But the infrastructure behind all of it didn't exist. And here's what he said when I asked him about the challenges that he was facing before we started working together.
Before I got next level, it was all on paper, right? Like the classic personal trainer, just trying to gather leads and just scramble and put everything together. So many random pieces of paper everywhere, leads blown in and out. Your phone is constantly blowing up, and it was just a massive headache. I had too many leads, which is, I know, is a very niche problem, but it happens. And without the right systems, no matter what, you're going to be leaving money on the table. Your business isn't going to be producing and thriving as much as it should be, even though you're doing all the things right. It might just be your system.
Too many leads. That's not a sentence that most coaches expect to hear as a problem, but it's one of the most important things I hear in this work. And I think it reframes something coaches get wrong consistently. The assumption is always that the problem is lead generation. Not enough leads, need more content, need better ads, need a bigger audience. And sometimes that's true, but a significant number of coaches I talk to already have the attention. They already have people inquiring. They already have campaigns producing. But the problem is that there's no system on the other side of the attention to actually capture it, to nurture it, and to convert it. This coach ran a campaign, he got 80 leads, and he didn't convert what he should have. Not because the campaign failed, but because the infrastructure to work 80 leads just didn't exist. And here's what he said when I pressed him specifically on what was the hardest.
Definitely the back end side of things. As personal trainers, as coaches, we're really good at doing the thing, right? We're really good at coaching clients, really good at getting them results, staying in touch and being great coaches. But when it comes to being business owners and learning how to manage everything on the back end, we're not inherently as skilled in that department. So mainly just the admin side of things. I was buried in admin all day, and it was taking away time that I could have been giving to my online clients, my in-person clients at the time. And yeah, it was just a real bottleneck.
Buried in admin. That's the phrase. Not overwhelmed by coaching, but buried by the admin around it. And this is where I want to slow down, because I think it's the most important thing to understand about the problem. The coaching skill and the business operating skill are two completely separate things. A coach can be world-class at delivering results for clients and simultaneously be completely underprepared for the operational requirements of running the coaching business that surrounds it. The coaching skill and the business operating skill are two completely separate things. A coach can be world-class at delivering results for clients and simultaneously be completely underprepared for the operational requirements of running the business that surrounds the coaching. And this isn't criticism. It's just the reality of what a coaching business requires at the 3 to 10K per month level. The volume of admin, leads to manage, clients to onboard, bookings to coordinate, payments to chase, doesn't stay manageable indefinitely. At some point, it becomes the job instead of the coaching. And that point is exactly where burnout starts.
I was in a bit of a rut with it all because, I mean, you give it your all, right? As a personal trainer, you're in the gym 12 hours a day, you're giving it your all, and you feel like you should be getting something out of it, but something just isn't like clicking. That's the type of situation I was in. It just felt like it wasn't working and it wasn't sustainable long term, putting a lot of stress on my life.
12 hours in the gym, giving everything, and still feeling like nothing was clicking. That gap between effort and outcome is the most demoralizing place to be in as a coaching business, because you can't identify the variables. You're doing the right things, you're showing up, you're working hard, and the result just doesn't reflect it. The variable almost every time is the infrastructure. There's usually one particular moment, not a gradual realization, a specific incident where the current way of operating becomes impossible to continue. For Sam, it was the 80 leads.
I ran a few campaigns and I'd put all of my effort into it, and I had 80 leads from it, and those leads weren't like, I wasn't able to manage those leads effectively because I didn't have the systems. And at that point, that was sort of the breaking point. So I had run a few campaigns like that. They were doing successful, but I was getting some clients from it, but not nearly the amount that I knew I should have been. That was my breaking point, the 80 leads mark, where I realized I need something to change here.
80 leads, and the campaign was successful by every marketing metric. The creative worked, the targeting worked, the lead cost was acceptable, and people were inquiring. But the conversion rate was nowhere near where it should have been because the follow-up was manual. The response time was inconsistent. The pipeline just didn't exist. Leads came in and leaked out the other side because there was nothing holding them in. This is the distinction that most coaches don't make clearly enough. There's a difference between a marketing problem and an infrastructure problem. A marketing problem is not enough leads. An infrastructure problem is leads aren't converting. Solving a marketing problem when you actually have an infrastructure problem is how coaches end up spending money on ads that produce leads, but they don't convert. The 80 leads moment told him exactly which problem he had. When he started looking for a solution, here's what stood out about Next Level.
It felt like it fit like a glove, like right on my business. It solved every single problem that I had. It wasn't so much as a client-facing tool, and it was the first time I had seen a back-end tool that was really fixed on helping personal trainers and online coaches. It was completely tailored, every single aspect of it, all of the trainings, every inch of Next Level is tailored towards scaling like a coaching business. It has everything that you need and nothing that you don't.
Everything you need and nothing that you don't. That's what the platform is designed to be. Not a generic CRM that coaching businesses can kind of use. Not a marketing suite that requires significant configuration to be somewhat relevant, but a business operating system built specifically for the operational requirements of a coaching business. Lead capture, automated follow-up, client onboarding, booking management, payment processing, pipeline visibility, all in one place, all connected and all running automatically. Here's what he said about the entire onboarding experience once he came on.
Oh mate, it was night and day. Like as soon as I got onboarded, you were so helpful. Everything was so easy. Like I felt like it was fun almost. Like it was fun setting up all the systems. And I consistently say this to like everyone that I speak to about my business. Like working with Andrew and working within the Next Level platform, it's like the Panadol to my business's headache. And it's true. All of the business headaches that I had with admin, with client communications being all over the place, my back-end system was just non-existent. And it felt like I had to manage my business in my head. And it was just giving me like the worst stress, worst sleep ever. Like it takes away from your own personal life. So within the first couple weeks, it was night and day. It felt like I was running a legitimate business and I was able to scale so rapidly because of it.
Panadol to my business's headache. That line has got to be the clearest description of what infrastructure actually does that I've ever heard one of my clients or anyone in general use. It doesn't make you a better coach. It doesn't change your offer or your niche or your content strategy. It removes the pain that was making the whole thing unsustainable. And when the pain is gone, when the admin is automated, when the pipeline is tracking everything, when you're not managing your business in your head anymore, the coaching can actually breathe. Let me walk you through a few specific things that we built in those first few weeks. The CRM pipeline. Every lead was tracked from first contact through to converted client. Stage transitions triggering automations automatically. No manual follow-up required. The lead capture and the nurture sequence connected to his campaign traffic. So when a lead came in, an automated response fired within minutes, not hours, not the next day, minutes. The booking system, self-serve, connected to his calendar. Automated reminders firing 24 hours before every consult. The onboarding automation, payment confirmation, intake form, welcome sequence, first session booking, all connected, all running without him having to touch anything anymore. And here's what he noticed within the first couple of weeks.
What I saw in my business was it just felt a lot more professional. It felt a lot more legit. Like all of the automations, all of the back-end management, everything felt a lot more streamlined. And it felt like when I was communicating with clients, when I was presenting myself, everything was so much easier. And as a result, the clients see that. They see that professionalism. They see how you're carrying yourself as a business. Because if you're the personal trainer that's running around with like 100 pieces of papers, like double booking yourself just because you have so much stuff in your calendar, like that type of person isn't going to be able to scale long term. And within the first couple of weeks, that completely changed for me.
The clients see it. That's the part that I want you to sit with. The professionalism of the back end affects how client experience the front end. When a new client pays and receives a branded confirmation within seconds, a personalized personalized intake form within minutes, a welcome sequence that tells them exactly what to expect, and a booking link that lets them schedule their first session without a single back and forth message. They're not just experiencing the coaching, they're experiencing the business. And a business that operates with that level of structure signals to a client that their investment is in safe hands. Just a quick pause here, because if this content is landing with you, if it's resonating, if it makes sense and you want something similar in your business, I want you to pause for a second, go down to the description of this video, click on the link that takes you to my Instagram profile, and give me a follow, because I post content like this every single day that breaks it down in so much more detail. But back to the video. Let me give you the numbers, because the shift in how the business felt is one thing. What happened to the revenue is a completely separate thing.
Everything has changed. Like financially, I was able to scale my business pretty rapidly, increasing in around $2,000 in revenue per month within the first couple of weeks of using NXTLVL, just because you're already putting in the effort, but the systems just streamline everything and allow that output come a lot more cleaner into the outputs that you want. So within the first month, $2,000 increase in revenue. And in taking my business online, within the first week of managing all of the campaign strategy and everything, which Andrew also helped me with, I was able to sign my first high ticket online client within my first week.
$2,000 increase in the first month. First online high ticket client within 1 week. Here's the context behind those numbers that I think really matters. The effort didn't change. He was already working hard. He was already coaching, already running campaigns, already showing up. What changed was how much of the effort was actually being captured and converted by the infrastructure behind it. Think of it this way. Before the systems, the pipeline was leaking. Every manual step was a gap where a lead could fall through, where a client could have a disjointed experience, where the revenue that should have landed didn't. The $2,000 increase wasn't new effort. It was the same effort, finally being supported by a system that held onto it. And the first online client in week 1, that's the lead capture and follow-up system working exactly as it's supposed to. Lead comes in, system responds immediately, nurture sequence runs, booking page converts, no more manual chasing, no delayed follow-up. The system did the work.
My biggest win, I would say, is signing my first online client in my first week of actually running the systems and everything that we established to get that success. But yeah, I feel like it takes people years, but it took us a couple months, you know what I mean?
It takes people years. It took a couple of months. That's not a hyperbole. The reason it takes some coaches years to get traction online isn't that they're not good enough or they're not working hard enough. It's that they're building on a foundation that can't hold the weight. Every time they grow, the manual operation grows with them, and eventually the admin collapses the momentum. Building the infrastructure first, before scaling the effort, compresses that timeline significantly.
You spend a lot more time actually doing the important things rather than just burying yourself in the admin. Just leveraging my time a lot better. I get to spend a lot more time with family, training myself, and just bettering myself as a coach, which allows me in turn, because all of the admin is taken care of and automated and all of the systems are in place, to become a better coach, deliver a better service, and as a result, get a better outcome in business because of it.
More time with family, training himself, becoming a better coach. This is what I mean when I say the infrastructure is not separate from the coaching. It just enables it. When the admin is consuming your capacity, the quality of the coaching suffers, but not because you care less, but because you have less left to give. The energy you should be bringing to every session has been spent on the booking confirmation that you had to send manually, the lead you had to follow up with by memory, the intake form that you had to chase, and when the systems are running, that capacity comes back and it goes back into the coaching, into the relationships with your clients, into the quality of the service, which produces better outcomes, which produce referrals, which produce the kind of organic growth that compounds. That's the full picture of what the right infrastructure actually enables. And here's what he said when I asked him what he'd tell someone who was on the fence.
Take the leap, take the leap. I know it seems scary to try to almost uproot all of the systems that you might have already built because you think, oh, it's working now, but what if this one doesn't work? I would say take the leap. It will remove all of the headache out of your business within the first couple weeks. Every single step of the way, Andrew holds your hand, and I have zero regrets about joining NXTLVL.
Zero regrets. And I want to address the fear he named directly, because I hear it often. It's working now. What if changing breaks it? Here's the honest answer. If the current system is manual, if you're the one holding it all together, it's not actually working. It's just surviving. And there's a massive difference. A system that works is one that produces consistent results without depending on you manually to operate every piece consequences of it. If you stop, if you get sick, if you have a busy week, if you take a day off and the operation degrades, that's not a system. That's you doing everything. The leap isn't from something working to something unknown. It's from something fragile to something that holds. If what Sam described sounds like where you are right now, the admin, the leads that aren't converting, the effort that isn't matching the output, the next step for you is straightforward. I want you to book in a business audit. It's a 45-minute one-on-one sit down with me. We'll look at your specific setup and build a plan of what needs to change. The link to do this is in the description below. Or what you can do is you can start within the NXTLVL Academy. There's free access to the frameworks, the community, and the content, and it's also found in the description below. Either way, don't stay in the position he was in any longer than you have to. I'll see you in the next video.